U.S. troop reinforcements.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. I'm your host, Jasmine McTague, coming to you live from Jersey City, New Jersey, watching the news headlines at this time. Our story of the hour. The Pentagon has approved the deployment of 700 unarmed National Guard troops to the nation's capital as it prepares to trucker convoys that are planning protests against the pandemic and restrictions beginning next week. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin approved the request Tuesday from the District of Columbia's government and the U.S. Capitol Police. The Pentagon said in a statement Tuesday night the troops would be used to assist with traffic control during demonstrations expected in the city in the coming days. The Pentagon said 400 Guard members from the District of Columbia Guards will be joined by 300 Guard members from other states, according to the statement. Guard members do not carry firearms or take part in law enforcement or domestic surveillance activities, the Pentagon said. Modeled after the recent trucker protests in Canada, separate truck convoys have been planned through online forums with names like the People's Convoy and the American Truckers Freedom Fund, all with the different starting points, departure dates, and routes. Some are scheduled to arrive in time for President Joe Biden's State of the Union address on March 1st, though others may arrive afterwards. On to our next story of the hour. America's first newspaper dedicated to ending slavery is being resurrected and reimagined more than 2 centuries later as the nation continues to grapple with its legacy of racism. The revived version of the Emancipator is a joint effort by Boston University Center of Anti-Racist Research and Boston Globe's opinion team that's expected to launch in the coming months. Deborah Douglas and Amber Payne, co-editors-in-chief of the new online publication, says it will feature written and video opinion pieces, multimedia series, virtual talks, and other current content by respected scholars and seasoned journalists. The goal, they say, is to reframe the national conversation around racial injustice. I like to say it's anti-racism every day on purpose, says Douglas, who joins the project after working as a journalism professor at DePaul University, Indiana. We are targeting anyone who wants to be a part of the solution to creating an anti-racist society because we think that leads us to our true north, which is democracy. Our next story. The East-West face-off over Ukraine escalated dramatically Tuesday, with Russian lawmakers authorizing President Vladimir Putin to use military force outside his country, and U.S. President Joe Biden and European leaders responding by slapping sanctions on Russia, oligarchs, and banks. Both leaders signed that an even bigger confrontation could lie ahead. Putin has yet to unleash the force of the 150,000 troops massed on the three sides of Ukraine, while Biden held back on even tougher sanctions that could cause economic turmoil for Russia. Said they would go ahead if there is a further aggression. The measures, accompanied by the repositioning of additional U.S. troops to the Baltic nations on NATO's eastern flank, bordering Russia came as Russian forces rolled into rebel-held areas in eastern Ukraine after Putin said he was recognizing the independence of separatist region in defiance of the US and European demands. Our next story, President Joe Biden and interviewing candidates for the Supreme Court. President Joe Biden has interviewed at least three candidates for the Supreme Court, according to the person familiar with the matter, and with the White House reiterating that he remains on track to make the final selection by Monday. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Tuesday that Biden has not made a decision on whom to nominate, but the president has interviewed judges Ketanji Brown Jackson, J. Michelle Childs, and Leandra Kruger, according to a person familiar with the matter. A second person familiar said Biden has interviewed at least three candidates for the post. People spoke on the conditions of amity to discuss the internal process. Biden has pledged to nominate the first Black woman to the High Court by the end of the month to fill a vacancy being created by a retirement of a Justice Stephen Breyer, and was not clear whether any additional candidates have been interviewed by the president. And now, a short break from our daily English news of Millennium News 24/7. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily News Update. Our next story. Florida's House Republican on Tuesday advanced a bill to forbid discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools, rejecting criticisms from Democrats who said the proposal demonizes LGBTQ people. The measure, dubbed by opponents as the Don't Say Gay bill, is now set for a final vote in the House after GOP lawmakers refused a series of Democratic amendments Tuesday. The proposal has drawn intense national scrutiny and has served as one of the latest battlegrounds between the White House and Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who is running for re-election and is widely considered to be a potential for 2024 presidential candidates. DeSantis has stopped short of endorsing the legislation, but earlier this month said it is inappropriate for teachers to discuss students' gender identity without parental involvement. After the governor's comments, Biden called the proposal hateful, and the White House released a statement saying the measure targets the LGBTQ students. On to our next story. Surging energy prices and Russia-Ukraine conflict are making European leaders think harder about energy security, particularly their decades-old resilience on Moscow for natural gas. The crisis shows Europe's vulnerability after years of limited progress in completing an energy union. A 2015 vision to allow affordable gas and electricity to flow across borders while diversifying suppliers and reaching climate goals. As renewables like solar and wind are slowly built up and coal and other fossil fuels are phased out, Europe still needs natural gas and it depends on Russia to get it. That comes into sharp relief as Europe's gas supply dropped and prices soared, partly because Russia sold less gas than normal, squeezing households and businesses with the rising costs. Our next story, Mark Langan, the singer whose raspy baritone and darkly poetic songwriting made Screaming Trees an essential part of the early Seattle grunge scene and, and brought him an acclaimed solo career, died Tuesday at the age of 57. Our beloved friend Mark Langan passed away this morning at his home in Killarney, Ireland, said a post on Langan's Twitter account, which called him a beloved singer, songwriter, author, and musician. Management company SKH confirmed the death for the New York Times. No cause was given. In a memoir released last year, Langan said a severe case of COVID-19 left him hospitalized in a coma. Langan never saw major commercial success, but through 7 full-length albums with Screaming Trees, 10 solo records, and a collaboration with Queens of the Stone Age and many others, he won a devoted fan base that included critics and his fellow musicians of several generations. Our next story, Scoundrel. How a convicted murderer persuaded the woman who loved him, the conservative establishment, and the courts to set him free, by Sarah Weinman. In 1957, a 15-year-old girl named Victoria Zelinsky never returned home after visiting a friend. Her body was found the next day in the sand pit in Ramsey, New Jersey. The police quickly made an arrest in what seemed like an open and shut case. Edgar Smith, who knew Vicky, admitted to giving her a ride that night in a car the police found to be stained with blood. Smith also disposed of the pants that the police later found, which were stained with blood that was Vicky's blood type. And Smith confessed after a lengthy questioning by police. Now a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News 24/7. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update, and now the story at this time. During February, a special ritual takes place backstage at the Lion King musical on Broadway. On show days, the four young actors who play the lion cub Simba and Nala seeks out fellow actor Benita J. Hamilton in the moment before the curtain goes up at the Minskoff Theater. The youngsters have learned their lines and choreography, of course, but during Black History Month, they also tell Hamilton that what they've learned about Black history historical figures. It might include a birthday, the figure's biggest achievements, and some facts about their lives. February is my favorite month because the children, the cubs, get to teach me about Black history, says Hamilton, who plays the hyena leader Shenzi on stage and off stage, looks after the cubs with warmth and respect. Every day in the month of February, they bring me Black history facts. Hamilton has led voluntary rituals for 17 years, and the children seem to enjoy the challenge. Telling Ms. Bonita my facts is just really fun to do, says Sydney Els Russell, 10, who plays young Nala. On to our next story. Dolly Parton, Jimmy Allen, Gabby Barrett will be pulling double duties with special performance on top of their hosting duties at this year's Academy of Country Music Awards. Country superstars and host Parton will be performing with fellow East Tennessee native Kelsey Ballerini on a song from Parton's upcoming new album and novel, Run, Rose, Run. Co-hosts Barrett and Allen will be the first performance of the March 7th awards show with the two song sets. The ACM Awards will be held in Las Vegas and live streamed on Prime Video. Leading nominees Chris Young also has a couple of performances, including his song Raised on Country, in a collaboration with Mitchell Tenpenny. Newcomer Brittany Spencer will make her ACM debut with the performance with Brothers Osborne. Reigning ACM Entertainer of the Year Luke Bryan also has double performance, including his hit Buy Dirt with Jordan Davis and the performance of his ballad Up. Other performers include Kane Brown, Carrie Underwood, Jason Aldean, Chris Stapleton, Eric Church, Maren Morris, Walker Hines, Thomas Rhett, Blanco Brown, Brooke Eden, Carly Pearce, and Ashley McBride and Brinland. Our next story. The Duchess of Cambridge met Wednesday with Denmark's popular monarch Queen Margrethe and her daughter-in-law Crown Princess Mary in Copenhagen as part of a two-day visit to learn more about how Denmark has led efforts in early childhood development. Kate slid down a slide at the Lego Foundation Play Lab and hung out with the young children in the woods at a forest kindergarten as part of the trip with her Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood. The first time she has taken the work of her own institution to the international stage. Before her solo trip to Denmark, the Duchess revealed she spent a recent school vacation playing with Danish-made Lego bricks with her three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, who were jealous she got to visit Lego Foundation. My children are relatively jealous that they weren't coming to see the Lego Foundation. They were like, hang on, there's Legos and we're not coming, said Kate, who arrived in Danish capital on Tuesday and visited the infant mental health program at the University of Copenhagen. Our next story. Another day ran off the clock on talks to salvage opening day when lockout baseball players proposed what they considered a small move forward in drawn-out labor negotiations and management terms. It, a third straight step backwards. Management again proposed a federal mediator entered the negotiations, but the union immediately turned down the idea, leaving Major League Baseball on track to lose regular season games to a labor dispute for the first time since 1995. Less than a week remains until the sides reach what management says is on Monday deadline for a deal that will allow the season to start as scheduled on March 31st. Players who have not said whether they accept that time frame, and there remains since both sides are awaiting more time pressure to force more major moves by the other. And now a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News 24/7. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. Phil Mickelson apologized Tuesday for comments about the sawdust and a proposed Super League. Damaging words he claimed were off the record and not meant to be shared publicly. It was reckless and I offended people. I am deeply sorry for my choice of words, he said. The same time as Mickelson's statement, KPMG became the first of his corporate sponsors to announce an immediate end to their partnership, a decision that KPMG said was mutual. We wish him the best, KPMG said in a statement. Mickelson said of his comments to author and golf writer Alan Shipnuck, I am beyond disappointed and will make every effort to self-reflect and learn from this. An explosive remark Mickelson told Shipnuck, the Soyuz behind a proposed breakaway rival league where Scary Mother can't say the word to get involved with. He also told Shipnuck, who is writing a biography Mickelson due out in May, that it was worth getting in bed with the sawdust despite their history of human rights abuses, if it means a chance to change the PGA Tour. Our next story. The Olympians have said goodbye to Asia after a star-crossed run, and it's unclear when they'll be back after the continent hosts 4 of the last 8 games. The earliest, the Summer Games, could return 2036. The favorite could be the world's most populous country, not China, as you might expect, but India. India's population is expected to overtake China's 1.4 billion in the next decade, and it is lobbying for the western city Ahmedabad to be the host city for 2036, with events elsewhere, including New Delhi, the capital. India in a race for hosting 2036. Nadir Batra, president of Indian Olympic Committee, told the Associated Press he offered few other details. In a show of support, the IOC has scheduled an annual meeting of its full membership for next year in Western India, metropolis of Mumbai. It's a signal the courting has begun. Our next story. Two-time major champion Zach Johnson is taking over as Riders' Cup captain, leading the Americans' side trying to end 30 years without victory on European soil. Three people with knowledge of the decision confirmed the move to the Associated Press on conditions of anonymity because of the PGA of America has yet to announce Johnson's selection. The PGA scheduled a news conference for Monday morning to announce the new captain. The decision is not a surprise. Johnson, 45, has been an assistant captain each of the last two matches, and the U.S. team has moved towards captains with previous involvements. The 2023 matches are scheduled for Marco Simone in Italy, and the Americans are coming off the country's biggest Ryder Cup rout, beating Europe 19-9 at Whistling Straits last September, with Wisconsin native Steve Stricker as the captain. Stricker was part of the Ryder Cup committee, 3 PGA Tour players and 3 PGA of America exclusives that picked the next captain. And now for our last story of the hour. Americans midfielder Winston McKinney has two broken bones in his left foot and will miss the United States Finals 3 World Cup qualifiers next month. McKinney got hurt while playing for Juventus in a Champions League second round first leg match of Spain's Villarreal on Tuesday night. Previous Estubinian made 2 legs, sweeping sliding tackle in the 80th minute, and McKinney fell to the field in pain. McKinney tried to get up and took 5 hops and fell down again. He needed assistance from 2 people to leave the field, draping an arm over the shoulders of each. Juventus said Wednesday that an exam revealed a compound fracture on the second and third metatarsal bones. The club projected his recovery time at about 8 weeks, which means he's likely will miss the rest of the Series A season. Juventus closed on May 21st at the Fiorentina. And this was the daily local news update of Millennium News 24/7. Log in to get your latest news. All of our social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, is Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers now on both network broadcasting Android, iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment and latest news and views. Our Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA Android, and Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Stay with Millennium News 24, and Thank you for watching.